Hey everybody, this is Nikki Golden, facilitator for Soul Portraits by Spirit, to be the person that gets to bring this forth to everybody in the world who doesn't really realize that it exists like it does. Soul Portraits by Spirit is the ability for me to be able to find the dearly departed and their loved ones' photos that they take. There are rules to Soul Portraits by Spirit. There's actually 4 main rules, and there are 4 bullet-pointed rules on one of those rules, the first rule. So those are called gifts of the spirit, and that is rule number 1 is Soul Portraits by Spirit. So you have to do that first before you do anything else. If you don't do rule number 1, when you first drop a photo on top of a background photo, if you don't reduce transparency, you will miss sometimes that photo fits exactly right where it dropped. So if you do that before you start moving it, playing with it, sizing it, resizing it, whatever you want to do. So yeah, that's rule number 1 of Soul Portraits by Spirit, which is to reduce transparency wherever the photo lands at on the background photo naturally. So the second rule of Soul Portraits by Spirit is that Spirit uses lights and shadows. This is the number 1 main rule of someone's, of their loved one on their curtain, and when I take them off the curtain, you can still see them in there. But people like to make excuses because it's hard to believe that this actually could really be what's transpiring. Spirit is going to use whatever lights and shadows in the picture is necessary. It doesn't matter if it's because how the light's coming through or because how the TV is shining on the cabinet. Spirit is going to use whatever lights and shadows are in that picture to come through. People say, well, that's just the way a dirt stain on the wall. It's just a dirt stain on the wall. My comeback to that was always, well, how can you explain that it looks like this person's grandfather? There are things that may be happening photogenically that, nobody really knows about yet, believe it or not. Spirit is going to use whatever's in the picture.
It doesn't matter if it's how this rug with a pattern meets with this shoe in the corner. If it can form, what you're going to recognize as your loved one in spirit, Spirit's going to use whatever's in the picture.
So it doesn't matter if it's the sunlight. It doesn't matter if it's, the way that the curtain is pulled back or a stain on the rug, or it doesn't matter. What matters is that you're able to actually see your loved one's face there, because Spirit's going to use whatever lights and shadows to come through. There's too many portraits that have been completed by lights and shadows, and it doesn't matter how the lights and shadows are being played. What matters is what you see in the lights and shadows. That's how the messages are able to get across. So that is rule number 2. Spirit uses lights and shadows, period. My name is Nikki Golden. I'm the facilitator for Soul Portraits by Spirit, and I am the Angel Advocate.